Hello everybody, welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. And I'm going to be going over This Week in Astrology. It is Monday on December 28th at the time of this recording, going all the way until January 3rd. We are heading out of 2020 and heading into 2021. So I'm so excited to finally be able to share that with you. So tonight, I'm just going to briefly go over some of the astrological energies this week. Now, tomorrow on Tuesday, and that's going to be on December 29th, we are going to be having the full moon. It's called the cold moon in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is all about home and family. It's going to be 8 degrees Cancer, if you are familiar with your astrological chart. And so basically the full moon is always a time where the sun and the moon oppose one another. So the sun will be at 8 degrees Capricorn and the moon is going to be 8 degrees Cancer. Why is that important? Because if you're a Capricorn or a Cancer, you're going to be feeling this, and this is going to be all up in your business, okay? So Capricorn, is all about work and CEO and organizing and planning and strategizing. And then Cancer is all about the feelings, home and family, nurturing, caring, can be stuff with moms, for good or for bad. It can be stuff with moms. So Cancer is definitely a water sign. It's a cardinal sign. So again, it's going to highlight all of the cardinal signs. So even if you are an Aries or a Libra, Capricorn or Cancer, you guys will all feel this. And if you're a water sign, so if you are Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, you are going to feel this full moon extra strong. So, but this is all up in our area of home and family, home and family. Home, think literal real estate or where you hang your hat at the end of the day, and then family of origin, and also family you created in this life, and maybe your family is your fur babies. I mean, that can be your family as well, but it's whatever your idea of family is. And the same goes for house. It depends on your idea. It could be a tiny home, it could be a rental, it could be a tent, whatever floats your boat. That's your idea of home. And so it is going to be on at 10:28 p.m. Eastern time. So earlier than that if you're out on the West Coast, so 7:28 p.m. Eastern Pacific Standard Time. And so basically the full moon is an ending, a completion, a wrapping up, a finishing of a cycle. So this is important because this year, again, 2020 was so tricky, right? This year was very unusual where we had 2 new moons in the sign of Cancer this summer. So on June 21st, we had a new moon solar eclipse at 0 degrees Cancer, so the very, very, very beginning of Cancer. And then later on July 20th, we had a normal full moon, and that was at 28 degrees Cancer. So that's almost at the end of Cancer, because it doesn't go to 30, it goes to 0. So it's like 29 point whatever it is, 59 or something, and then it goes to 0. So basically when we talk about degrees, we had 2 new moons. So whatever you started this summer, particularly if you think back to the June 21st one, because that was 0 degrees, and this particular full moon is 8 degrees. So 8 and 0 are closer together than the 28 degree one. You want to think back to what you initiated or you started back in that cycle, because now we're having a full circle kind of moment where we're wrapping up that cycle and we're about to proceed to a new cycle. So if you think about an ending, a completion, a wrapping up, I mean, endings don't have to be hard and horrible. I mean, it could just be that you are just peaking out on something. If you think of the full moon, it peaks, okay, and that's the exact time, like I said, on Tuesday evening that it peaks. So if you think about the full moon, remember it goes up, the peak, and then it comes down. So really 48 hours leading up to the full moon, sometimes we can't sleep as well. Sometimes we start to feel like the feelings, and let's talk about the feelings. Cancer is all about feeling. Let's just face it. Both Cancer and Capricorn are sort of notorious for having problems with depression, although every sign could have potentially a problem with depression. I'm not saying that it's just exclusively to those astrological signs, but Cancers and Capricorns are a little bit prone to that predisposition. They share the same axis, meaning that they're opposites, yet they're on the same axis. I always say, if you visualize, this is my selenite wand, if you visualize, they're both on the same sort of deal. It's just one's on one side and one's on the other side. So when we think about different stones that can help us, if you want to feel more Cancerian, you like all those feelings, you like, talking about motherhood and nurturing and caretaking and babies and pets and all that stuff, then you want to embrace, I'm trying to show you, but it's a little hard, it's on the camera. This is Moonstone. And so if you want to be more empathic, if you want to be more Cancerian, if you want to be more of all the stuff that Cancer possesses, the traits, then you would want to harness Moonstone. Moonstone, back in the day, in ancient time, was actually called the Traveler's Stone. I don't recommend it necessarily for being in crowds and being around a lot of people and all of that stuff, because if you think about it, it increases empathicness, and that can be a little shaky. Let's say if you're a female, this Moonstone is very good for women and females, especially if you're having fertility issues, or if you're trying to conceive, or if you're having menstrual cycle stuff. Moonstone is very good for that. If you're experiencing the depression side, okay, of Cancer, I like lepidolite or even amethyst. I have a very light colored amethyst here. It's hard to see. But amethyst and lepidolite are two very good stones. Okay, if you're experiencing the depression side of Cancer, the weepy sort of side, lepidolite is a great one, and I like this one. I can put it in my pocket. It's small enough. It's not as common of a stone, but certainly if you don't have lepidolite, amethyst is another very good one for that. In fact, amethyst is the official stone for AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. So certainly depression and even addiction issues are those stones are very good. Now, before the broadcast, I was frantically looking for my tiger's eye, and that's another very good Cancerian stone, though it's better for like the grounding aspect. So let's say you don't want to be all in your feelings necessarily, and you don't want to be too emotional, and you want to like kind of curtail that side of this full moon. Then if you're looking for the grounding aspect, then you would want maybe tiger's eye, or even any of the dark colored stones. I'm always talking about my dark colored stones, which I think are very good for doing that and for grounding. Now, anything associated with the ocean. So when we think of Cancer, we think of the crab. So coral is a good one, and pearls is another good one to enhance that Cancerian energy. But any of that stuff is good for the Cancer full moon. Now, remember, this is the full moon, so you want to be able to burn or destroy your new moon manifestation list that you wrote a few weeks ago during the last solar eclipse on December 14th, and you want to be able to burn it or destroy it. I always say, if you live in downtown Manhattan and you can't burn it, go ahead and put it in the shredder. And I always like to read it again out loud, and then I thank angels, Buddha, God, universe, whoever it is you pray to, for helping me, and then I read it, and then I burn it. I burn the list. And so that is a great ritual to do, your new moon manifestation list, and to go ahead and release it out to the universe. There's a saying, let go and let God, or let go and just kind of have faith. And that's what you're doing symbolically with your list. Now, as we get into the rest of the week, it's actually quiet. Yay! I'm wearing my sparkle, by the way, because it is New Year's Eve coming up. But this New Year's Eve is a little tricky, I'll just say that, because we have two planets that are going to be highlighting Neptune this week, and I want to make sure I have that right. Yeah, two planets that are highlighting Neptune. So on Wednesday, the 30th, December 30th, we have Venus in Sagittarius forming a square with Neptune in Pisces. And then on Friday the 1st, New Year's Day, we have Mercury forming a positive sextile with Neptune. But remember, Neptune is also the god of the ocean, so it's interesting because we have that Cancerian energy. By the way, the sign of Cancer is literally ruled by the moon, so this is going to be an extra little strong full moon. And then Pisces is the god of the ocean. That's the god that carries the trident, you know. And so we have Mercury forming a sextile. Mercury is going to be in Capricorn, and then on Wednesday we have the Venus forming a square. This is where we might have a misunderstanding here. We might not have all the facts. Someone might whisper sweet nothings in your ear on New Year's Eve, and then the next day you find out, oh, that wasn't what it seemed at all, you know? So there's this like sort of, you know, kind of cloudiness or fuzziness. Now, I'm just going to say, because remember Wednesday's the peak of that, but again, it's going to be active for a few days. With Venus and Neptune forming a square, you want to sort of be on the lookout or be aware, I should say, not on the lookout, but be aware of deception. Because whenever Neptune is activated, deception is the dark side or the shadow side of Neptune. And so you want to watch that because, you know, make sure that but on the sort of more neutral side, I'll just say that sometimes we think we understand and then we don't. We have misunderstandings or we have misconceptions or whatever. Now, on the weekend, like I said, Mercury is going to form a sextile with Neptune. And then on Monday, January 4th, at the time of my next live broadcast, which I broadcast every Monday night, in case you guys didn't know, on my Facebook page, and then I post it here on YouTube. But this week I took off, so I'm just posting it here on YouTube. Mercury is going to form a conjunction with Pluto. So, wow, there's going to be, this is kind of setting us up in a way, because it's like we have the Neptunian potential for cloudy, foggy, fuzzy, or even deception or lies. And then we have Pluto, which is pure power. So it's almost like we could blow up over nothing, or we could blow up over something we thought was something and it wasn't something. So the key to this stuff is to have some real awareness, and better yet, why don't you, embrace asking questions, getting curious. You know, the positive side of Mercury, because Mercury is going to be aspected twice here. The positive side of Mercury is to get curious, ask questions, don't assume. You know, all of that type of stuff is a thing. Now, another dark shadow side of Neptune is drugs and alcohol use. So be careful around New Year's. Obviously, we're hopefully not going to too many parties this year because of COVID. So I want y'all to stay safe, please, and celebrate responsibly. But that can be a downside to Neptune is indulging in alcohol, drugs, any kind of thing like that. And so we want to be safe. And just again, that cloudy, foggy, fuzzy thing. So a lot of times we feel a little out of it. I'll just be honest, when Neptune's activated, we feel a little out of it and a little spacey. And sometimes we run late, or we don't have a great concept of time, which is great if you're off. If you're off for January, you know, New Year's and all that, and you're off from work, that's wonderful. But if you have to do some real linear, sort of technology-based or any kind of thing where you have to think like very factually, Neptune is not your friend. I'll just say that. So this year, I hopefully is going to be a lot better, quieter. 2021, I think a lot of us are really going to welcome that into our lives and hope that it's a little bit better of a year. So I am sending you all lots of love, peace, light, love, and happiness, and good prosperity, good health, and all the blessings for 2021. And please go ahead and check out my webpage, GretchenHeidel.com, if you have any questions or my Insta or my Facebook, or just like me here on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. That always helps. Okay, bye for now.